Be me. Greater than 24. 3 years back, I was still stuck in Tulsa, Oklahoma, grinding 2 straight days without sleep. Worked nonstop, paycheck decent, but life felt empty. Only thing steady was girlfriend Julia. Drove home one night half dead, dreaming of collapsing into bed finally without a care. House was quiet. Figured she ran to store. Nothing unusual, nothing to stress about. Took a shower, nearly passed out, body screaming for rest, mind shutting down slowly. Then faint music drifted from next yard, laughter carrying through hot summer air. Looked out window, saw lights, people gathered, burgers smoking on grill, neighbors drinking happily. And right there, Julia in neighbor Jenny's arms, laughing like I'd never seen before. Heart stopped, exhaustion vanished, rage filled every vein, hands shaking uncontrollably by side. I threw on clothes, stormed outside. No invitation needed, just pure fury guiding steps. Walked straight across yard, locked eyes with Jenny, spun him, fist smashing his face instantly. Party froze, laughter gone. Jenny hit ground clutching nose, Julia screaming, "Tony, stop, please." But words were blur, vision red. Whole world narrowed to betrayal glowing in backyard lights. Neighbors stared. Someone dialed cops. I stood trembling, chest heaving, surrounded by broken silence. Julia yelled, "It's not what you think," but deep down I knew it was exactly that. Music still played faintly from speaker, absurd soundtrack to everything I thought life was. Sirens echoed blocks away, blue lights flashing soon after, neighbors whispering behind cupped hands quietly. Police cuffed me right there. No fight, just hollow calm, as if energy burned out completely. Julia cried, but never came closer, never reached for me. Just let them take me. Judge later handed 2 weeks jail time, said assault couldn't slide, even first offense. First 4 nights behind bars. I didn't sleep, just replayed moment endlessly, fists clenching. 5th day, cell door opened, old buddy Mark, now cop, sat across quietly. He said, "Tony, you're a shadow of yourself. Sleep tonight. I'll get you out tomorrow." Next morning, Mark shook my shoulder, joking, "Wake up, sleeping beauty, bail's ready." First smile in days crept across my face, felt strange after endless nights awake. He handed me greasy burger, tasted like heaven after cafeteria slop I barely touched. Walking out of station into daylight felt unreal, like I'd escaped cage built from anger. Mark drove me home, silence thick. Then he said, "Don't let betrayal bury your future." I nodded, but words floated away, too tired, too broken to believe anything fully. House sat waiting. Julia standing in yard nervously, arms crossed, guilt painted on face. I didn't speak, didn't yell, just walked past, went inside, started packing everything I owned. Clothes, documents, photo frames into boxes, each item cutting deeper, but steady hands moving fast. Julia whispered, "Tony, please." But I didn't answer, just zipped bags, slammed drawers, heart already gone. Called Mark, asked if he knew realtor, told him help me sell house. That night, I booked one-way ticket out of Tulsa, away from ghosts clawing my chest. Airport at midnight smelled of coffee and tired travelers. I sat alone with heavy backpack. Flight to Denver boarding soon, city unknown, but anywhere better than backyard betrayal I left behind. Plane lifted off, lights shrinking below, weight lifting off chest, those scars still raw. 3 hours later, sunrise over Rockies, golden peaks punching sky, felt like second chance. Denver wasn't easy, money thin, rent high, nights lonely, but freedom sweeter than comfort lost. Worked odd jobs, saving scraps, sleeping little, but no one could take peace from me. Called Mark often, his voice grounding me, said, "Build slowly. Brother, bricks not fireworks." First year brutal, ramen dinners, missed payments, doubts circling constantly, but I kept grinding. Second year small spark, opened tiny shop selling gear, friends laughed, thought it'd fail quickly. But customers grew, shop became chain, paycheck steady, future brighter than I imagined during jail. Mark retired from force. I hired him gladly, said, "You saved me, now let me return." Standing in new Denver store today, I whisper thanks, not to Julia, but to punch that set me free. 3 years later, business steady, network of stores across Denver paying bills without sleepless nights. Mark works beside me, no badge now, Just loyal friend who showed up when no one did. We joke about old days, but deep down I know he saved more than freedom. He saved me. Julia never called. Jenny vanished too. And honestly, that silence feels like gift, not wound. Back then I thought money and girlfriend meant security. Now I know truth's different entirely. Security is friends who show up, jobs that build you, nights you sleep without fear. Sometimes I drive past airport, remember that midnight escape, ticket in hand, heart in ruins. Denver skyline rises now, reminder that rock bottom can become foundation if you choose wisely. Pain turned to fuel, betrayal to blueprint, fist to restart button I never saw coming. Wasn't proud of that punch, but without it, I'd still be blind, still stuck in Tulsa. Life isn't about never falling. It's about knowing when to finally walk away. And I walked, bruised but alive, into future that feels fully mine today. Now when people ask if I regret it, I pause, remembering blue lights, cold cuffs, broken trust. I say regret? No, lesson? Yes. Because pain carved wisdom deeper than any comfort could. Julia taught me love without loyalty is just illusion. Jenny taught me neighbors aren't always friends truly. But Mark taught me real family isn't blood, it's who shows up when world collapses. Sometimes customers see scar on my knuckle, ask about fight. I laugh, say long story. Truth is, that scar reminds me daily of night my old life died. And I'm grateful, because rebirth came from ashes, from moment I thought I lost everything. Denver feels like home now, mountain air cleaner, streets freer, future brighter with each morning. I still stumble, still face doubts, but foundation solid, built from mistakes and resilience equally. And if you're broken, betrayed, cuffed, remember, you're not finished, you're just starting chapter new. Price of peace is high, but payoff is priceless, worth every scar left behind. So yeah, one punch changed everything, but walking away changed even more completely. Months rolled by in Denver, grind relentless, mornings stocking shelves, nights balancing fragile books. Sleep scarce, meals cheap, but each day I survived felt like tiny victory earned. Neighbors curious about new kid, small-town accent sticking out in crowded city noise. I kept to myself, head down, building something brick by brick from ashes behind me. Sometimes anger from Tulsa crept in, but I hit gym instead of people now. Weights replaced fists, iron clanging drowning voices of betrayal that once echoed too loud. Mark called weekly, reminding me I wasn't alone, that starting over takes more than pride. I hung on to his words like rope, steadying me when doubts nearly pushed me down. Slowly shop found rhythm, customers returning, faces familiar, routine comforting in unfamiliar city. Money still tight, but hope stronger, and for first time in years I smiled. Late nights locking store, I whispered thanks, not for pain, but for path it carved. I didn't know then. Bigger storms and brighter days were still waiting around corner. Second year hit harder, bills stacked higher, pressure mounting like weights I couldn't always lift. But customers grew too, locals supporting shop, word spreading slowly through neighborhoods quietly. Mark retired from force, restless, so I offered him job, hands steady even off duty. He laughed, called me crazy kid, but joined anyway, and suddenly I had partner again. Together we stocked shelves, managed orders, cracked jokes, turned long nights into brotherhood reborn completely. Shop expanded, another location opened, then another, Denver slowly becoming canvas for second life. Julia's name never crossed my lips again. Jenny just ghost in old photo album. People asked about scar on knuckle. I shrugged, said, reminder to never forget lessons. Truth was, it symbolized end of boy who stayed silent, start of man who left. Life steadier, scars softer, laughter louder, future clearer than ever before to me. Still, some nights I stood outside, city lights buzzing, wondering if past would chase back. But each dawn proved answer. No, because I finally outran ghosts by choosing myself fully. Year 3 arrived, shop stable, money flowing steadier, life calmer than I ever imagined. Denver no longer strange city. It felt like home built from sweat and second chances. Mark handled paperwork while I dealt with customers, rhythm easy, trust deeper than contracts ever gave. One evening closing store, young kid came in, eyes tired, hands rough from work. He asked about job, said he just needed chance, something to keep him standing. I saw myself in him, lost and desperate, clinging to thread before breaking entirely. I hired him on spot. No questions, just gut telling me he deserved rope too. Watching him stock shelves, careful and proud, I realized healing meant helping others climb forward. Pain wasn't wasted if it planted seeds in someone else's cracked soil honestly. That night, I told Mark. He smiled, said, "Circle complete. You became the hand you needed." I laughed, but inside tears burned, because truth cut sharper than fist ever could. Scars didn't just mark survival, they marked rebirth, and I carried them proudly now. Still, past haunted in small flashes, dreams of Julia's face, Jenny's laughter, police lights glaring. Woke up sweating sometimes, heart racing, replaying backyard betrayal like film stuck on loop. But difference now, I didn't drown in it. I faced it, breathed through it calmly. Therapist sessions helped, Mark pushing me there, saying strength meant knowing when to ask. I sat in that office, told stranger about fists, jail, loss, and slow rebuild daily. She nodded, said, "You turn trauma into foundation, but don't carry weight alone forever." Her words echoed for weeks, until I realized healing wasn't weakness, it was discipline. I kept showing up, learning to speak instead of swing, choosing voice over violence finally. Denver nights grew softer, streets less heavy, laughter from shop workers louder than echoes of pain. Customers became community, friends became family, scars became stories, not excuses anymore. And though past never erased, it transformed into compass pointing toward life I built now. For first time, I felt free, not from ghosts, but from need to fight them constantly. Spring rolled in, business steady, team stronger, life almost peaceful, like storm finally passed. Then phone rang one evening. Unknown number. Voice I hadn't heard in years whispered. "Tony, it's Julia." Breath caught, memories colliding, anger and sadness mixing dangerously inside me. She said she was in Denver, wanted to talk. Just 5 minutes, nothing more. I stared at wall, Mark watching silently. Waiting for answer, I barely had myself. Finally I agreed, curiosity sharper than caution, part of me needing closure once and for all. We met at small cafe near Colfax, her eyes older, tired, smile faint but fragile. She apologized, said life with Jenny crumbled fast, mistakes haunting, regrets chasing every night now. I listened but stayed calm. No rage, no fist, just man I'd become instead. Told her betrayal broke me, but also rebuilt me stronger, gave me life I have. She cried quietly, whispering she wished she saw that strength before she walked away. I left cafe lighter, realizing closure wasn't about answers, it was about my peace. Mark asked later if I regretted meeting her. I shook head, saying, "Not anymore." Truth was, that talk proved past no longer held chains, only shadows fading with time. Focus shifted back to shop, to employees relying on me, to life I chose. One night I gathered whole crew, thanked them, said this isn't just my store, it's ours. Their smiles reminded me of first days, ramen dinners, doubt heavy, faith barely holding together. Difference now, I wasn't alone, I'd built something bigger than paycheck or title ever gave. Customers walked in not just for goods, but for belonging, for place stitched by trust. Every laugh in aisles louder than echoes of broken backyard party years ago. I stood behind counter, heart steady, realizing growth wasn't just survival, it was community. Julia became memory, Jenny ghost, betrayal lesson carved into scar, not destiny anymore. And Mark, standing with me, grinned like brother, proof real family is chosen not given. In that moment, I knew journey wasn't about punch, it was about who I became after. Summer heat rolled in, Denver alive with festivals, shop busier than ever, life pulsing strong. One night after closing, young employee asked, "Tony, you ever regret that fight?" I paused, scar on knuckle catching light, memories flashing, Julia's face, Jenny's smirk, sirens wailing. Then I smiled softly, said regret no, lesson yes. Pain built bricks under my feet. He nodded, eyes wide, and I realized my story wasn't secret, it was blueprint for others. From then, I spoke openly, not glorifying violence, but showing path from ruin to rebuild. Employees listened, customers too, shop turning into more than business, it became safe place. People came not just for goods, but to share scars, to find strength in community. Mark joked, "You're running half store, half therapy circle," but I knew he was proud. I saw healing in faces around me, reflections of boy I once was daily. Truth hit me. Impact wasn't just punch, it was ripple shaping lives beyond my own. And for first time, I thanked past pain out loud instead of just whispering silently. Months later, local paper wrote article, headline, "From Jail Cell to Local Success Story." Picture of me and Mark smiling in front of shop, scar visible on fist. Reading it felt surreal, like watching strangers' life, yet every line carried my blood. Calls came in, neighbors congratulating. Even city officials stopped by saying community needed more leaders. I didn't feel like leader, just survivor who refused to stay broken, but maybe same thing. Interview asked, "What turned it around?" I said simply, realizing one punch didn't define me. People clapped, but inside, it was quieter. Truth wasn't for them, it was for me. Because deep down I knew healing started moment I chose walk away from Tulsa. Julia never called again, Jenny never mattered. Their names just footnotes, not anchors anymore. Standing in shop doorway at sunset, I watched crew locking up, laughter echoing proudly. I realized legacy wasn't about empire or money, it was about lives touched around me. And in that golden light, I finally believed fully. I was more than one mistake forever. Fall arrived, leaves turning gold, shop thriving, life balanced, scars no longer chains on me. One evening Mark and I sat outside store, beers cold, city buzzing around quietly. He raised glass, said, 3 years ago you were broken, now look at you. I laughed, shaking head, remembering jail cell, burger he smuggled in, promise he made. You saved me then, I told him, but he shrugged. Nah, you saved yourself, kid. Truth is, maybe both were right. Friendship lit spark, but I had to fan flames. Night air carried peace I'd chased for years, not perfection, but calm I could hold. I whispered quietly, that punch hurt me, but it woke me too. Scar catching moonlight. Mark grinned. Sometimes life needs a hit. Question is, what you do after counts. And he was right, because fist wasn't end, it was beginning of man I became. Pain carved path, betrayal cut ties, but choice built future, one brick at a time. And sitting there, I realized I'd never trade story. Even scars were worth the lesson. Winter crept in, snow dusting Denver streets, shop lights glowing warm against cold outside. Crew decorated windows with cheap garlands, laughter spilling like music, reminding me of family I chose. Customers walked in smiling, neighbors waving, life stitched together by simple, steady acts daily. I no longer feared past knocking, because I'd answered already, closed that door, walked forward fully. Julia and Jenny gone, just shadows fading with years, ghosts that couldn't touch me anymore. What stayed was Mark's loyalty, my crew's trust, and the peace I built with own hands. Standing behind counter, I watched scarred knuckle tapping register, symbol not of violence but survival. I realized love, betrayal, pain, all just chapters, none final, each pushing toward next one. Story wasn't about fight, it was about rebirth, about walking into storm and leaving stronger. So when people ask what changed me, I smile, point to scar, and say everything. Because life isn't about what breaks you, it's about what you choose to build after. And I built freedom, family, future, all from night I thought was my absolute end.